Okay, it's the end of the semester. We've been learning about equality in the classroom, having different kids from different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different financial situations, just having kids that are different. So I wanted to look up some articles. I wanted to find 5. I decided to look up some terms on Google. Teaching different races in the classroom were some key sentences I typed into Google. Teaching weird blue-haired kids. Nothing really came of that would have been useful. Equality in the classroom, simple, got a few hits there. I came out with 5 good articles that I'm going to present to you through our discussions and our blogs. Obviously, we've really dug deep into the problems and how to have effective classrooms, and some of the articles give solutions. Okay, the first article I want to tell you about, it's about the Matthew Project. It was inspired by the work of Noah Friedkin and Juan Necochea. Basically, they wanted to show, statistically with data, that smaller classrooms were much more productive when you have kids of different ethnicities, race, and financial backgrounds. Second article, it talks about communication. We have all these kids with different backgrounds and they're bringing different understandings to the classroom. So when we communicate, or other students communicate with them, you need to have an understanding of that communication. I might say something, or a student might say something somebody else takes offense to. I didn't mean for it to be offensive, it's my background. So therefore we need to know how to communicate with these different groups of children. The third article, it clearly states 10 solutions to equity in education. Basically, rather than just stating the problems that many of these articles do, it goes further and it tells you some solutions. Excellent article. The fourth article is actually from the 70s. Interestingly enough, I found this very important because it shows the differences that were starting to happen, and now we're taking it to a whole new level where coming up in 2050 or something, there's going to be all minorities in school. The 70s is when it just sort of started, and it started to look at how do we deal with this. So it's good to see when it started, where we've taken it, and where we need to go. Look at your past to determine your future, right? The fifth article, it's about perception. Perception? Perception. Did you see it the same way I saw it? Perception. Basically, what this is saying is that our idea of having different students scares us. People don't like change. Oh my goodness, what does this all mean? Change, scary, what do we do? Look, having multi-ethnicities and different kids from different backgrounds, it's awesome, it's great. Think about it. As teachers, we get to learn, we get to practice new things. And have more cultural days. Chinese Day, African American Day, Indian Day. How many more reasons to party do you want? More days for food, more days for donuts. It's all how you think about it. As a teacher, embrace it, go with it. It's going to be awesome. Well, first of all, let's read a few statistics from Educational Leadership. I'm sure you're all familiar with this book. First of all, 1 in 6 American children lives in poverty. Think about it. Nearly 50% of all African American children are poor. Bummer. Children growing up in poverty are twice as likely to be retained in a grade, drop out, or experience a violent crime. Not what we want. 1 child in 3 is born to unmarried parents, or if they have a single parent, it's most likely to be a working mom. How are you going to do good in school when your home life is not good either? 18% of the US population speaks a language other than English at home. Half these families speak Spanish. That means job security for me, the English teacher overseas. Not so good for you, a little bit of a challenge in the classroom. By the year 2020, over 66% of all school-aged children in the United States will be African American, Asian, Hispanic. I don't know where the white kids are going, but we're making more, we're integrating. The percentage of white teachers is increasing. I'm part of that statistic. Percentage of black teachers is falling. Why? Come on. Let's work together here. Okay, so as we've seen in previous assignments, inequalities between students can cause misunderstandings. Remember that story about Clarissa? The kids didn't like her. She likes to say racial slurs, racial jokes. Hey, they wanted to do a little beat down. We can't have that happening, right? No. We also can see when these students have a problem in the classroom and then they go home and they tell their parents, the parent's only getting one side of the story. Mom, I'm a perfect angel in school. And the teacher's like, no. We see it happen all the time as teachers. We've had some projects in our blogs, our discussions on how to properly motivate students. Personality, be energetic, be alive. Do whatever you want, just make the class exciting. We've learned how to deal with that. We've learned how to look at some of the gaps of the students' learning versus what we think they should be learning. We've critiqued styles of learning. Memorization. Should they memorize or should they maybe understand a little bit more? Do they need to know the exact date when Christopher Columbus discovered America? Maybe understand the bigger picture. Why was he leaving England? Surveys. We need to get data. We need to do proper surveys so we know exactly what we're going towards. Where are we going with this data and how can we use it to build a better classroom? Obviously, we need solutions. The main step in creating equality is to have everybody have a shared vision in where the school is going. We need to understand the school's culture that can be judged on 4 different levels. 1, tactic assumptions. Number 2, the core values of the school. What's the school all about? 3, shared norms. What's normal in our school? Let's work with it. Number 4, the artifacts. What's been going on in the school for a long time. And that's part of understanding the culture in the 4 different ways, getting us towards a shared vision. That's gonna open up the doors. That's gonna get us to where we need to go. We have enough problems. Let's work on some solutions now. Okay, let's bring this all to a conclusion. Let's bring it all together, wrap it up in a big ball. How do we get these solutions to all these problems that we have? To summarize, smaller classroom sizes. If you have a classroom with 30 students, why can't you break it down into smaller groups, multi-ethnic groups, different backgrounds, bring them together, put them in small groups, and individually help the groups. The second solution, communication. Communication. As adults, we have trouble with this. How do we expect kids to have it perfected? So therefore, we need to teach this to our kids. Instead of reprimanding somebody right away for a misunderstanding, try to figure out what is going on. But we bring different backgrounds. We bring different thoughts and ideas to the table. Each of them is unique. It's great. We definitely need to be clear and precise on our communication. There needs to be, this is so important. Oh my goodness. There needs to be basic minimum standards. Give a foundation for everybody to grow on. We're all humans. We all have the ability to learn equally. If you're rich, you're poor, you're black, you're white, it doesn't matter. You're a human. Now, sometimes, of course, some might not be up to par, some might not be motivated. You can't do everything for these kids. If they can't make it in high school and they can't get that diploma, they need to have a great way to fall back and have a GED. Not everybody's perfect. We all have that capability, not all of us use it. GEDs, successful inclusion programs, and that is what we need. So far we have smaller class sizes. Second, communication. Third, a very basic foundation that is equal for everybody to learn and excel. Fourth, teachers need to look at themselves. How do you move around the classroom? Do you stand by the clean kids and you stay away from the dirty kids that can't afford a shower? Think about your verbal and your non-verbal language. Bam, done. The last article, it talks about perspective. And I have all these ideas and thoughts. Learn from each other. That kid is no different than the other kid. We are the same. We are atoms, we are molecules. There's no reason any of these kids are different. It's about your perspective. We are humans. We are the same. I hope you realize this in your classroom and use it to your advantage.